Happy Bank Holiday Monday! My name is Mandy Celine. I'm a director and editor. I'm also the founder of Breadbox Studios, which is both a production and post-production house. So that is me in a nutshell. I've been doing Adobe Lives on and off for a while, so maybe you'll recognize the face and maybe you don't. Totally fine either way. Welcome, we're doing challenges every single Monday for the next month. You got to get used to this face is what I am saying. I've got a couple of housekeeping bits. Yes, same time, same day, every Monday, all over May, I will be here. Don't forget to download your projects from the Behance site. It will be linked around, I am super sure. Today, you will see assets used that may be different inside your pack, but you can also use your own assets. So please do not feel tied to what I'm showing you. I will be using 50 photos. You can use whatever you like. I'll tell you a bit more about what we're going to be doing today, but first I also need to let you know that we have a Discord where you will be able to share your work. And I will be checking that Discord over the next month to have a look at what you're doing, have some chats, you can ask some questions, maybe I'll reply. We'll see what's going to go down and what's going to happen. So is that everything? Yes, now I've just got to tell you what we're working on today. I had to keep a list because my memory is bad. Let's blame it on the bank holiday, shall we? So, welcome to my humble abode. Today we will be making a whole montage. Maybe I'll try and say that again. Today we're going to be making a whole montage just using some markers on our sequence, so we should save loads of time. Of course, as I said, the assets are available to you, and I'm really excited to get started. And here we are inside Premiere Pro, like that magic. It's like I did it using predetermined buttons. And now I'm a mini me on your screen. So firstly, let's highlight that we're going to be using the workspace over here and the vertical workspace. Yes, this is a vertical video. We are using photos, which means you can implement this technique even on a TikTok or Reels. My voice got ahead of itself. So this is kind of a really fun way of editing photos if you're a photographer into a Reel. We all know that that's a bit annoying, but you know, that's what the algorithms love these days. And I have got one I made earlier. I'm just going to move over here. There we go. So you can see what it is. Right, so I think you got the gist. Sorry, I paused it a bit earlier than I wanted to. Over here, it's all these markers at one frame. Then we went on for 2 for a while, and then we went to 3. Let me pull out a bit. There you go, 3 or 4, and then we just did the beat for the last 3. You can do this with so many songs. I just picked this one because it seemed to have a bit of variation. But yeah, we're going to move along from our little Blue Peter, here's one I made earlier, timeline, to making a montage with markers. So I have the tracks muted right now. What I'm going to do is give it a quick listen. Right, and I'm gonna highlight. Yeah, there's a big change there. So, ooh, you know what? Here's a good lesson. We don't want to put the markers, by the way, on any of the audio clips. So do you know what we want to do is undo that and lock them, because then we're going to put the markers in the right place, in the correct place. They're going to go up here, which is what we wanted. Right here. I forget I can draw with this mouse to really highlight things. Over here, we want the markers over here. How fun. Also can highlight them. Learning something new every second. So in case you didn't see, I've really highlighted please on the sequence, not on the actual clips or the music clips, because otherwise it's not going to cut it. It's not going to work. So that's one place where I know I'm going to want to change the amount of markers I want to put. And then the next one will be here. Right, you hear that? That's where I know it's going to go to every now and again. So we got, right, definitely one there. Right. Think here. And then I'm going to do 1 marker to this point, 2 markers for a bit, I think. I should explain 1 every 1 frame, then 1 every 2 frames, not 1 or 2 markers. there. I feel like it changes around there. So we'll do that. So now I can mute them. So I'm just going to unlock to mute and lock them again, because that way I know I'm not going to interfere with them. And we're going to do something really easy. This is the really easy part, is marker. First marker must be at the beginning of the timeline. Again, you can see it show up here. So first marker at the beginning of the timeline, and then one frame marker, one frame marker, one frame marker. So we're going to be doing this for a little bit. I'm just going to look and do it and have a little bit of a chat. This is a little bit tedious, but it's a lot better than, I don't know, finding 25 photos and cutting them down one by one. This is a bit quicker. So this is how you do these kind of things. Should we zoom in on the timeline, see how many we might have left? Okay. And you can also see them now in every frame. So then we have every frame covered. Then from this point, I want to go 1, 2, marker, 1, 2, marker. I hope you guys are having a wonderful bank holiday Monday. I don't know if it's a holiday outside of the UK. I assume it is. 1, 2, 1, 2. Do you know how hard it is to talk and do this? I am not one for multitasking, but okay, perfect. And I actually put the other marker in at the perfect time. Otherwise we would have had to delete and move that. So now we're on this one, and it's going to be every 3. 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, coming up on it. Did I put 1 too early? I did. Oh no. 1, 2, 3. I've come up on the end of it. So we had the marker, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put this one here and delete this one. Now I know it's slightly offbeat, but it might look better. So to do that, I'm going to right click, hit edit marker, and then I'm just going to click delete. Gone. Easy. And then zoom out, and there's the last few markers. Da, da, da. Can we fit more on? Oh yeah, it's muted. Well done, Mans. Right. Yeah, you know what? That'll work fine. So, and now we're going to zoom out and look at all those markers. There's so many markers. We're going to go into our photos now. You can double click this to open up your bin, and it will look like this if you have the icon view, but it's probably already on list view. So you know what, Mandy, get out of the way. So let's go over here for a bit. So let's go on this view and make it big so you can see what's happening. We have a lot of photos here. There are, I think, about 50. Now, there are a couple of ways we can do this. One way is we need to select in a certain way and a certain order. In fact, that's something you should do if you want a particular order on your clips. And you need to select them in order for this to work in the way that you want it to. Another quick way is we can just select all of them right now. And that's probably what I'm going to do in a very particular way, in no way at all. So they will appear in the order they are selected. That's just how automated sequence works. So we'll give it a shot selecting, and then we will have a go, right? So let's go back into Premiere. Yeah, there we go. I think this is all of them. Brilliant. Yeah, it's all 50 items. I can see that here, 50 items. So what you want to do is select them in order of how you want them. So if you wanted them like this, you just select them like this, and this is the order they're going to appear as you click them. So maybe we want this green with more green and rocks, and then we go into, I don't know, what looks good with that. This kind of thing, then into the blue water, back to blue, back to blue. Let's get more, you know, green in it, and then back to green, green with water again. Green with water, mountain tops. Let's get all these tanny mountain tops. And then we need to get into blue somehow, I guess. So we'll go through all of these into the blue. Here we go. Teal, blue, this one, this one, this one. And then we need to start getting into, there we go, pink. and that is selecting all of them. I'm just going to make this smaller again. If you're wondering how I'm making this screen bigger and smaller, I'm using the tilter key. It's on my British keyboard, it's above the control and options, but it might be different for you. It looks like a little squiggle. It looks like, can I draw with it? I can. This, if you're wondering. So now that we've selected this, we want to go to here, to this amazing little button called Automate to Sequence. So we're going to go into Automate to Sequence, and you know what? Mandy's done a boo-boo. Oh, never say that again. We need to make sure our play header is at the very beginning of our timeline, or this isn't going to work. So now we want to click Automate to Sequence. I can't believe I did that. So yeah, we're going to make sure this placement is set to at unnumbered markers. That's really important, and we want to make sure it overrides the edit. So if the clips are too long, the next clip's going to overwrite it, and we do want that. Ordering, we want selection order. You can have it in sort order if they are, like, you select them and they're numbered 1 through 50. You can also do that. We're not going to be doing that today. We did mix it up today. I was going to marquee box it and do it the lazy way, and then I was like, you know what? No, for you guys, I have to select things. So we're going to do that, and that's it, I think. Clicking OK, and that's where the magic happens. So we've already seen, oh, zoom. There are some markers there already. Let's have a look. Let's see if this will play. Okay, so firstly it was mute because I Mandied it. Let's not make that a thing. So let's play that. Great. It's a little bit laggy just because of like my computer. If you're having that issue, you can go to this button down here and go from frame to a half a resolution or quarter, and it does play a little quicker. But does my space bar. There you go. It's kind of still figuring it out. I think it mostly needs to render. So yeah, you'll notice though that was 50 clips and we're not even near done. Like, we're not filled, and that's fine. These flashed so fast, we should be able to do it again. So I'm going to put my play header at the very, end of all of that. I'm going to lock this, and I'm going to click that again and do it again. And there we go. It's filled in the rest. Let's have a look. Yeah, and it slows down then when that stuff comes in. Great, love that. I'm going to go up here, click Command and K to cut it, and then I'm going to click the A button, select everything, because I bet you there's more. There is. Everything that's ahead, that's like selects from that point forward, and just click delete, because we don't need it. And then I'm going to zoom back into our little 7-second sequence. Like, this is super short. It's like perfect for a vertical video. Let's give it a go. Okay, a few of those clips are extremely zoomed in, so we can see how big the clips are by selecting, let's go with A from the top. There we go. We'll get there in the end. And then I'm going to right click and click set to frame size, which is conveniently cut off this for some reason. Select a frame size when you right click, and we're seeing black bars, and this is because the photos are now not going to be able to do this and listen to that, so mute that off. So there's a lot of black bars. Some images are bigger than others. I'd say most of these would be full size at around 35%. So if we go into our effect controls, let's have a look. B to get back to the arrow. Effect control, so we're at 27. That means they've scaled all the way down to 27 to be able to fit in the frame. I wonder if I make this about 35. That fits. Love that. So, so these photos are basically bigger than the sequence I have set. Actually, before we go, I might show you how to set the sequence. So we're just going to click Command and C, and then I'm going to marquee select. It's easier and lazier. Everything, so it's in little white boxes and it's selected. Right click, go to paste attributes and make sure it's just on motion, and click OK and see if that resolves most of the clips. Okay, some are still too small, but definitely an improvement. Okay, so this one seems to be one of the smallest. I'm just going to go in here. I think around 60%. Okay, great. So, and you can just click your arrow keys back and forth just to fix it up to however you want it to be. Some of them are going to be a bit too big. This one's one of the smallest ones for sure. Small, this is fine. Fraction. No, actually, was fine. Turns out. No, fraction. There we go. Yeah, some of these are just a bit smaller than I'd like it to be. It's not going to lose the impact. But this is a really fun way to showcase your photography in a video format, which we all know is where the like world has just shifted to, which is wild. Is this one too big? No, that was perfect size. Great, great, great. Can zoom in a bit. Great. Ooh, a bit small. Great. You can just kind of do this to your heart content. Maybe you want sometimes the black bar and you could have a really fun background in it. I think that's a fraction small it was. And you can really play with your layers, make it as interesting as you want. Maybe you want them all to be this size. Maybe you want that. And then it's just playing with it till, you know, you decided that's how it should look. So we're just going through as quick as we can. Camels. Oh, you know what? Bring this one a bit bigger. Camels. We're doing this quite quick. We're already a second in, she says. Oh no. There's probably quicker ways to this. This is personally how I like to do it because I want to make sure every shot is okay. The way to make sure, I guess, when you're editing yourself, it's all going to be perfect is to make sure your photos are already the right, you know, format. So they're already 9:16 when you drag them in. Oh, didn't mean to make that smaller. That's fine. We're back on the camels. There's like just a couple here that are a fraction too small. I mean, you can also do this in a way where you like want to flip them the other way, make it look a bit different. You might not want to do that. Up to you to customize as you want. But, oh, this is taking me back, you know. Oh, what did I do there? This is taking me back to when I used to work in travel videography. I used to love it. But then I got burnt out and then, the world went weird. So haven't done it for a minute, but it was really fun. Good time of my life. I've actually been to a lot of these places, which is why I picked some of these because I was like, I've been to that. Okay. I mean, it helps that I'm in Europe. Let's be real. We're very close to a lot of things. An hour's drive and I can be in a different country. So, is what it is. And that's the last one. Okay, we did it all. Let's zoom back out on that timeline. It should be perfect now. Okay, that looks good. To my eye, that looks good. Let's pair that with sound. Come on. And bring it back. Great, love that for us. And that's really all there is to it. I've got a couple of things I want to go over. I'm going to color grade it with you. We're going to go through and make them look a bit more uniform. And I'm going to go through and make a sequence with you, show you how to make a sequence, at your frame rate and different frame rates or different ratios. And I have a little bit of things I want to go over because I have a feeling I was blocking something. So let's dive back into Premiere. Okay, I can see I was totally blocking it. I can see it from here. If you notice, let's go back into the right thing. I seem to have clicked off what we were doing. Over here is what I was talking about earlier when I was speaking about how you can change the resolution of your preview window. Now, this is not going to affect the export at all in the slightest, but you will be able to change how much power your computer is using, basically, because it's going to be doing a lower res version of a preview. So you can either go to half or quarter. I've stuck with full. It's generally been okay. There's a lot of photos in there, so sometimes it will freak out just a little bit. But generally, we're okay. Let's get to color grading. So I'm going to go and click on the little post-it note. Click on the post-it note and click adjustment layer. My my sequence is set at 25 frames and this is all accurate to me, but again, we'll go through that in a minute, I promise. And then we're just going to do that and drag it on top and just pull to the edge. Perfect. I'm going to zoom, zoom, zoom. That's a reference no one's going to get. It's an old Scrubs reference. And I'm sure they were referring to something else. So color-wise, I've already put up my Lumetri color panel while we were talking in full screen. She's sly. So we're going to go out to basic color correction first. I think we make it maybe a bit more golden because there's some very tealy clips in and that might help. Maybe a bit more purple because there's a couple of purpley clips and maybe we can blend some of them like this one in. Exposure, maybe, do we want more contrast or less? Let's do less because some of them are quite punchy. See what I mean? Like I could change the shadows for this guy, whites up, maybe a bit brighter. Some of these photos are going to be really good and might need it. And I'm not going to touch the blacks. Something we can do is add a bit of vibrance because some of them are more muted. When I do that, when I tend to add vibrance, I tend to go back a bit on the saturation. So vibrance is like the top end of every color being brought up, but saturation is like the entire color being brought up. So it can be quite empowering. I don't like to play with the saturation in that way. I do try to play with vibrance a bit more. Personal preference. And then we can go into vignette. And if you go to the right, it should turn white. And if you go to the left, it should turn black. And I want to put one on because I think there's so many clips, it's going to be the only consistent thing over the top of all of them. So let's see how that looks. Definitely looking better. There are some things offbeat in the middle. We probably could have gone on for one frame longer, but I didn't have time to listen fully and play. You know what? That works. That totally works. And they look so much more cohesive. So that was a really good idea. Oh, I'm not sure I mentioned this earlier. You need to press the M button to make a marker. Just so you know, M button. When you've got your music locked off so you can't add any markers to it and you're adding them to the sequence, you just walk along, move 2 frames, add an M. M. You become your own personal DJ, you know? So there's that. I'm going to lose one of my earphones in a second. I must be shaking my head quite violently today. Last thing before we go, if you want to make a sequence, you can go to the post-it note and say sequence. And you get a whole range of options. You got your HD. You can use this if you want. I tend to have this kind of locked in just cause. But the best thing about it is you can go to settings and make your own anyway, which is what I tend to do. So for the frame size, I recommend 1080 for TikTok, Reels, Shorts, all of those, because that's what they're going to get compressed to anyway. And that way you can make, if you have 4K footage or higher res photos or whatever, you can make those look really good in 1080 as opposed to pumping out in 4K and then it compressing, you know. So is it 1920 by 1080? It'll either tell me it's going to be vertical or horizontal. That is horizontal. So what you want is to start with 1080, 1920. That makes sense. The horizontal, you know, is the short edge. The vertical is the long edge. It's just I saw horizontal and thought it was this number. But it says here, you will confirm the frame rate here. Can we zoom? Highlight? That will work. So you can, you know, confirm the ratio there. 9:16 is vertical video. Now, if you want to choose a different kind of frame rate, I'm using 25. That's because I work in PAL, so most of Europe is on 25 because of how we use our cameras. If you're in the States, you're probably using NTSC, and that is 23.96. That is a lot to process, but generally that's why people use that and why Europe uses 25. Something we all can use is 30. Just FYI, we can all use for 30 frames. So you can do that here. You have a whole array of sequences. But you'll probably use one of those 3, truthfully. And then you click OK, and that is your sequence. And you can see because it's black. And that's it for today. You did it. I'm really proud of you. Truly. Thank you so much for spending time with me on this Bank Holiday Monday. And I will be here every Monday in May. We will be talking through loads of other different things. Don't forget to jump in the Discord, ask any questions. I'll see if I can integrate anything I can. Also, I'd love to see your work. So at me when you post it on your stories, just at Mandy Celine. I'd love to see it and if it was useful to you. Again, if you want a discount on Adobe, feel free to click on my bio and, find yourself a discount there. And I think that's it for today. Don't forget to check out all the amazing talks on Adobe Live. There's another one coming up right now. Totally recommend it. It's going to be so good. And you can also download next week's assets not long before the lesson and join along with us. So I think that's everything. Talked about the Discord, said goodbye over and over. But yeah, I guess I'll see you at the same time next week. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And I hope you had a really good bank holiday. Bye.